Taiki Shuttle retired in 1998, but when the topic of who the best smiler is in JRA history, even 27 years later his name still comes up in discussion. Absolutely dominating nearly every race he touched, Taiki Shuttle made history, not just in Japan but overseas as well. Yutaka Ogino lived in the small town of Taiki Town, populated at around 7,000 people, located in Hokkaido, Japan. Some people call Taiki Town a space town because it's home to aviation and space universities, research institutes, and one major facility owned by the Japanese Aerospace Exploration Agency. Ogino was the son of a horse trainer and was inspired to create his own company, which he would name after the town he lived in. So, in 1990, Taiki Farm opened, a racehorse breeding farm and a club registered with the Japan Racing Association. Like other Japanese breeders, Taiki Farm has their breeding farms located in the United States, Kentucky. Because of their vast pool of American and international stallions, some Japanese breeders opt to have their mares breed with American stallions to breed horses. And so, in 1994, in a Kentucky horse farm owned by Taiki Farm, Taiki Shuttle was born, named after the word Space Shuttle in reference to Taiki Town and its space theme. His father was an American horse named Devil's Bag, who actually has a bit of an interesting history himself. He was an award-winning racehorse who sold for $36 million at 2 years old, which is the highest price a 2-year-old horse has been sold for in all of horse racing history, third highest for any racehorse ever. He won 8 out of 9 total races, setting a couple records. He was given the Eclipse Award of American Champion 2-year-old colt of 1963. Taiki Shuttle's mother, Welsh Muffin, was a British mare kept in Japan, who mainly raced in Ireland and North America, winning a total of 5 out of 15 races. After his birth in the US, Taiki Shuttle would be moved to Ireland, where he began training. Taiki Farm assigned Kazuo Fujisawa to him, who today is known as a legendary trainer, retiring with 1,570 race wins and several racing awards, including the JRA Award for most wins 12 years in a row between 1993 to 2009. His training method was described as mainly focusing on the horse's natural rhythm. After training in Ireland, at 2 years old, Taiki Shuttle would be transferred to Taiki Farm in Hokkaido. His debut was delayed twice. He had developed a leg injury and a hoof infection. Passing the gait test on his third attempt, Taiki Shuttle would debut on April 19, 1997, where he would show the results of his training. In his debut race, he ran in a 1600-meter dirt race in Tokyo. Fujisawa opted to place him on a dirt course to avoid worsening his healing leg. He was the favorite and easily won by 4 lengths. He would then run in another dirt race at 1200 meters, easily winning as well. After the success of his first 2 races, his legs improved in health, so he was entered into a turf race. On June 8th, he ran in the Shobu Stakes, where he was the second favorite. He won, marking 3 wins in a row. Taiki Shuttle would then take his first loss in the next race, at the 1400-meter Bodaiju Stakes, where he was the favorite. He lost by a neck behind, marking his first loss. Fujisawa wasn't bothered by this, saying it was the case where an underrated horse took the lead and that even strong horses lose sometimes. Taiki Shuttle took a 3-month break, then would race in his first grade stakes race, the G3 1600-meter Unicorn Stakes. When asked about the decision for entering, Fujisawa said he just wanted him to enter a mile race with horses in his own age bracket. Taiki Shuttle was the third favorite and easily took the lead, winning by 2.5 lengths, winning his first graded stakes race. 3 weeks later, he entered the 1400-meter Swan Stakes, a G2 race. This was his first race against horses older than him, and that day his regular jockey Yukio Okabe was unavailable, so his stablemate Norihiro Yokoyama rode that day. Okabe was busy riding another horse, Shinko King, who reportedly had an unpredictable and volatile mood. It was said that he only liked Okabe as a jockey. In the Swan Stakes, Taiki Shuttle was the second favorite. For the first part of the race, he was in third, then broke away in a straight, winning by 3/4 lengths over the favorite, Sugino Hayakaze. With his impressive achievements, Taiki Shuttle qualified to race in the 1600-meter G1 Mile Championship. Being his first G1 race, it was a big goal, but this year had impressive competition. The favorite was Speed World, a 4-year-old horse who impressively placed third in the Yasuda Kinan. However, there was another notable horse that participated in this race, Silent Suzuka. He had yet to reach his peak, but was impressive nonetheless. Taiki Shuttle was the second favorite, but Okabe was unavailable that day as well, so Norihiro had to sub in again. When the race started, the lead set an extremely fast pace, with Silent Suzuka right behind them. Taiki Shuttle was in 5th place, then 4th, when Norihiro gave him the signal. Taiki Shuttle instantly responded, passing the competition and winning by 2 lengths. It was the first time in 9 years a 4-year-old horse won the mile championship. This was such an impressive victory that Fujisawa considered taking Taiki Shuttle overseas to compete. After the race, Norihiro, impressed by Taiki Shuttle's strength, complained to Okabe, saying that it was unfair that he got to ride such a strong horse. Okabe responded by saying that if he had been riding since the beginning, Taiki Shuttle wouldn't be as strong. Following the mile championship victory, Taiki Shuttle would run in the Sprinter Stakes, a G1 race distance at 1200 meters. He was the favorite and won by 1 3/4 lengths. Taiki Shuttle would be the first horse to win 2 autumn sprint G1 races in the same year. Through his accomplishments, he was considered to be honored as the first sprinter or miler to receive Horse of the Year from the Japanese Racing Association. The title ultimately went to Air Groove, with Taiki Shuttle winning the JRA award for Best Sprinter or Miler. With the new year, 1998, the team planned on entering now 5-year-old Taiki Shuttle into the Yasuda Kinen. However, that's when disaster struck. In the time frame between January and April, the cold weather in Hokkaido around Taiki Farm would range from -6.5 to 6.8 Celsius. This caused cracks to form in Taiki Shuttle's hooves, who had a history of hoof injuries, impeding his ability to race. Fujisawa asked for his regular farrier, Katsuo Shiga, to help. Shiga decided to use a special technique called 4-point shoeing, which involves trimming the heel and toe so that the hoof makes contact with the ground at 4 points, then adding on the horseshoe after. It's said that this technique improves hoof balance, health, and reduces stress on the hoof. Knowing when to apply this technique is a case-by-case basis, and some people are even hesitant to the idea due to the difference in normal horseshoeing. The technique was a success. Taiki Shuttle's hooves started healing, and it was such a success that people would later say his achievements wouldn't be possible if not for Shiga's shoeing. Taiki Shuttle would then start preparing for his original goal of the Yasuda Kinen by running in a preliminary race, the KO High Spring Cup, distance at 1400 meters. Despite returning from a break, Taiki Shuttle was the favorite. In the race, he broke away in a straight, winning by 1.5 lengths, in a course record time of 1 minute 20.1 seconds, 0.4 seconds faster than the previous record set last year by Taiki Blizzard. The record would last for 9 years until broken in 2007. Fujisawa praised Taiki Shuttle, saying he was a strong horse, and that his performance at the race made him realize that he really had the potential to challenge overseas G1 races. His team made plans to run in the Takamatsu no Miya Kinen in the week after, but they pivoted to his original goal of the Yasuda Kinen. He was the favorite to win, however that day there was heavy rain, worsening the track condition. In fact, there was so much rain that people wondered if the race would be cancelled. There was concern about Taiki Shuttle running in poor track condition for the first time, combined with his history of hoof injury. When the race started, as usual, he positioned well. From the 4th corner to the final straight, most horses spread out to either the inside or outside of the course to avoid the rain-soaked track, but not Taiki Shuttle, who stayed in the middle, and as the horse beside him was starting to break away, Taiki Shuttle sprinted past, winning by 2.5 lengths. This win was not only proof that he was able to run in poor track conditions, but it was the final nail in the coffin for the team's decision on his overseas trip. Deciding on going to France, the team debated in 3 G1 races: the 1600-meter Sussex Stakes, the 1600-meter
Prix Jacques Le Marois,
and the 1300-meter
Prix Maurice de Guest.
Fujisawa was interested in the Sussex Stakes, set at a prestigious racecourse. However, Taiki Farm's vice president said that the course had too many ups and downs, something Japanese horses and jockeys aren't used to. The other 2 races shared the same course, which was flat, so he thought Japanese racehorses would be used to that. The president of the company entrusted the difficult decision to Fujisawa, who eventually decided on the
Prix Jacques Le Marois,
the highest level G1 race in France. Coincidentally, Seeking the Pearl and her trainer Hideyuki Mori were also planning on going to France. Taiki Shuttle arrived in France on July 21st, only 1 month before the race. Some people questioned the timing, wondering if it would have been better if he arrived earlier to get used to the new environment. However, Fujisawa thought it would be best if Taiki Shuttle received the same usual training like he would back in Japan. It's thought that because of this, Taiki Shuttle remained relaxed throughout his time in France. A week before the race, Seeking the Pearl became the first Japanese trained horse to win an overseas G1 race, and her trainer told the media that Taiki Shuttle, who will be racing next week, is even stronger. When the day of the race came, from hearing about the formidable track record back in Japan, Taiki Shuttle was the overwhelming favorite. When seeing the odds, Fujisawa said it was just like back in Japan. Mori knows that the track was heavy despite the clear weather, and then joked that because Seeking the Pearl had won before, they spent all night spraying the course with fire hoses. There was another unexpected problem, however. Hours before the race, Taiki Shuttle was extremely excited to run. In fact, so excited that he kicked a concrete slab, causing his horseshoes to fall off. Shiga had to put his horseshoes back on, but got kicked in the chest, breaking 3 of his ribs. He managed to successfully put the horseshoes back on, just making it in time for the race. Winning this race meant a lot for Fujisawa and Okabe, especially Okabe. You see, in 1971, 27 years ago, Okabe was rewarded for winning a race with a trip to the US. There, he witnessed American horse racing ants community, developing a love for overseas racing, focusing on America. He was the first Japanese jockey to win in the US, and the first Japanese jockey to win a derby outside of Japan. However, he had not yet won a G1 race overseas, and this race was an opportunity to do so. The race started, and Taiki Shuttle ran in second place, but lost his focus, looking around in the first half. It eventually came down to the last 100 meters, and Okabe knew that he had to make a move.
Taiki Shuttle on the near side grabs a narrow lead. Among men is flashing home with Cape Cross. They race towards the line. The Japanese have won again. Taiki Shuttle beat Among Men. Then in third,
Taiki Shuttle won by half a length, and the news that Japanese trained horses won 2 consecutive French G1 races spread like wildfire throughout the European horse racing community. For Fujisawa and Okabe, winning a G1 race overseas was the completion of their dream, and Okabe cried tears of joy at the ceremony, as he was cemented as a pioneer for overseas racing in Japan. His team considered more races in France, but because of quarantine issues, it was decided that Taiki Shuttle would return to Japan to participate in the Mile Championship. In the race, he won by 5 lengths, winning the Mile Championship consecutively. His team originally planned for him to retire after this race, but the Japanese Racing Association asked them to participate in one more race, the Sprinter Stakes. He lost, placing third while the winner was Minor Love. Fujisawa attributed the loss to Taiki Shuttle's mood, saying he clearly didn't want to run, and it was evident after the victory in the Mile Championship that he became rebellious. He was clearly overweight in his last 2 races because he refused to train on his own. Fujisawa said that if Taiki Shuttle could speak, he would have said, "Let me retire now." In his retirement ceremony, all of his race results were displayed on a screen, and for his last race, which he placed 3rd in, he was listed as placing 1st instead. Because of his 5 G1 wins in Japan and France, Taiki Shuttle, for the 2nd year in a row, won the award for Best Sprinter or Miler, Best Colts 4 years and over, and Horse of the Year. He was the first horse specialized in short distances to be crowned Horse of the Year. The next year, in 1999, he was the first short distance horse to be placed in the JRA Hall of Fame, where he would be remembered as one of the best milers in Japanese horse racing history. Fujisawa and Okabe won awards as well. Most notably, Okabe was inducted into the JRA Jockey Hall of Fame in 2014, and Fujisawa was inducted into the JRA Trainer Hall of Fame in 2022. Out of 13 races Taiki Shuttle ran in, he won 11 of them, with 5 G1 wins, winning 615 million yen and 1 million franc, converting to 22 million yen. His dominance as a mile specialist in Japan and abroad still keeps him as a topic of conversation. In 2019, 21 years after his retirement, there is a poll conducted on who the best miler was in the years between 1989 to 2019. Taiki Shuttle was ranked first with 7,819 votes out of 27,000 votes. After retirement, he became a breeding stallion, fathering 1,265 foals. Some notable progeny include Win Kluger, Meisho Bowler, and Summer Wind, with their own impressive records. 19 years later, in 2017, he retired as a breeder and was moved to a retirement facility for racehorses with Meisho Doto. The two of them became good friends, often seen together. Sometime during his retirement, someone cut the manes of Taiki Shuttle and Rose Kingdom. And then on the same day, in a different farm, someone informed police that the mane for winning ticket was put up for sale online. The perpetrator was caught in the following year. In 2022, Taiki Shuttle passed away in his sleep, and Meisho Doto still wears Taiki Shuttle's blanket to this day. Taiki Shuttle is the friendly, sociable cowgirl who hails from Kentucky in the United States. She loves being around people, often planning out parties to socialize as much as possible. She actually loves being around people so much that she gets lonely extremely easily, to the point of crying when left alone for a prolonged period of time. She loves giving out hugs and will go out of her way to make sure others are happy to put a smile on their face. Her choice of hangout is always a barbecue, and her favorite food to eat in them are hamburgers, but she also likes steak, though she complains that Japanese steaks are much smaller than American ones. She can be seen hanging around with Silent Suzuka, El Condor Pasa, Grass Wonder, and Meisho Doto. Because she experiences it herself, she likes to arrange parties for other foreign Umas that feel homesick. She has messy, light brown hair like her real-life counterpart. Instead of an ornament, she has a green star pinned right below her ear. Her outfit goes for the cowboy look, featuring a cowboy hat on her back, a red bandana tied around her neck, leather gloves and boots, a belt lined with silver, a sheriff's badge, and even a pistol holster with a revolver. There are white stars on her green skirt as a reference to Taiki Farm's race uniform. When it comes to her racing abilities, the first thing that's apparent is her lack of concentration. When you meet her, she impresses with her sprinting ability, but she falls behind in the last part of the race due to her lack of focus. Despite her strong start, she places okay, but nothing impressive. This one flaw keeps other trainers from scouting her, and as you later come to learn, is quite a hindrance when it comes to training. The main focus of her career is obtaining the title of Umamusume of the Year. When she finds out about its existence, Taiki Shuttle is infatuated with the idea of winning it, as she believes it's the best thing she can do to make her family and friends happy. Of course, she does end up winning the title in a faithful adaptation of her real-life journey. Though longer races get way more attention, they're out of Taiki Shuttle's range, so you master sprints and miles, winning as many G1 races as you can. Air Groove ends up winning Umamusume of the Year in your classic year, but your achievements in your senior year can't be ignored, and you end up winning the title. There are two notable differences between her real-life record and the game. First is that her entire overseas trip to France is omitted. Secondly, you actually see Silent Suzuka plays a huge role as a rival in her story, despite the two of them only running one race together in real life. This is because in real life, Silent Suzuka had the reputation and track record to contend for Horse of the Year. However, because he was forced to retire early, he never completed the full year. It's very possible that if he did, he would have won the title. In the game, you and Taiki Shuttle are always keeping an eye on Silent Suzuka's journey, and she's widely considered to be the strongest Umamusume during your senior year. In the end, you beat her at the Mile Championship and claim the title for yourself. For her stats, she has an A rating in both sprints and miles, while she does poorly in any longer race. She has an A rating in Pace Chaser, and her unique skill is Shooting for Victory, which increases acceleration when positioned well on the final corner. Something I'd like to point out is that her skill you unlock at potential level 5 is called Mile Maven, while in the Japanese version, it can be translated to Ruler of Mile. Because she'll be running in primarily sprints and miles, you want high speed and power without needing much stamina. For winning the career, aim for these stats, and for PvP, aim for this. Most Umamusume run for the glory, to prove themselves in a rivalry, or meet the expectations of their family legacy. But for Taiki Shuttle, it's simply for her fans. Every victory is to put a smile on their faces, so one day this foreign Umamusume can give a big hug to her family back in Kentucky.